Yeah, I tried when I was working on this sermon to come up with a modern counterpart to a Samaritan, but I couldn't. Perhaps in another time in American history, I might have. Perhaps Native American would have worked back in the day when the only good Indian was a dead Indian. Perhaps an African American might have worked, say, in the post-Reconstruction South. Those might still work for a few people, but not for most. And I can't think of anything, any example that would make everyone who heard it recoil the way that Jews of Jesus' day would have done with Samaria. So I suppose that I need multiple candidates for the position, and you can pick the one you like. I don't know, maybe a Muslim Arab would fit the job description for some. Or how about an illegal immigrant from Somalia? And if those don't bother you, just come up with your own stand-in. All you have to do is think of that person you don't want to move into your neighborhood and use him. Now all we need are stand-ins for the priest and the Levite, and that's easy. The pastor can be priest, and a church elder makes a fine Levite. And the person who is robbed is just anybody. Somebody like me or you who just happened to be misfortunate enough to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, to get robbed, beat up, and left on the side of the road for dead. Now, I don't suppose I need to retell the whole story. The pastor and the elder happen by, see the guy, but avoid him. But then the Muslim or the illegal immigrant or whoever your stand-in is happens by and goes out of his way, goes above and beyond to care for, to love this person that he has found. And in the end, Jesus says for us to be like this Muslim, this illegal immigrant, this your particular stand-in. Now, I don't know if you noticed it when I read the story, but Jesus' story really doesn't answer the question that the lawyer asked. And who is my neighbor? The story is a nice way of saying, do I have to love them? But Jesus answers by telling a story about one of them who crosses cultural and religious boundaries to care and love someone in need. And then Jesus says, act like this one of them. When I was growing up in the church as a kid, it seemed to me that faith was primarily about knowledge and belief. Certainly, belief is a big part of being Christian. But Jesus' words today in our reading, do this and you will live, speak more of action than they do of belief. And I suppose that back in a day when we regarded most everyone around us as Christian, the action part of faith seemed perhaps less necessary, less important. If we were all Christians, there wasn't a whole lot of need to demonstrate faith. We just had to agree with it. But those days are long gone. We live in an era with lots of different faith options, endless options, including no faith at all. And it's no longer the case that if people want to learn about faith, if they have some spiritual yearnings, that they need to go to church. There are endless other places and resources they can go to learn about faith. And the ones that draw people to them are the ones that they can see lived out. The ones that make a difference in the lives of the people who subscribe to them. And Jesus says to the lawyer and to us, live lives that cross boundaries and barriers and minister to the needs of those you encounter, whoever they may be. You know, any number of Sundays when the worship here ends, I'll stand at the doors in the back and shake hands, and I'll occasionally shake hands with someone I've never seen before. And I can watch sometimes as they go past me and go on into the lounge and go there where people are getting their coffee and their cookies and fellowship. And as I continue to shake hands, I can occasionally glance and still see the person in the lounge, see them moving about in there conspicuously alone. And when I've shaken the last hand, I'll go in there myself, and sometimes I'll see that a member has spotted this person and is engaging them in conversation. But other times the person is still standing there all alone, or worse, has given up and has gone home. Sometimes we in the church think that helping people in need simply means feeding the homeless or making Christmas baskets for destitute families. It includes this, but the world is filled with other needs right in front of us. People need to know that they are loved, that others care for them, that there is a place for them. People need to know these things, and I wonder how often we pass right by someone in real need because we are so busy with those we already consider our neighbors. I wonder how often we look a lot like the priest or the Levite in the parable, not because we're bad and mean and nasty people, but because we have forgotten that Jesus tells us to act like the Samaritan, to go out of our way to care for anyone who needs our help, our touch, our friendship, our hospitality, our kind word, our welcome, our embrace. Wanting to justify himself, a religious authority asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" But Jesus turns the question on its head and answered, "Be a neighbor to everyone who needs you." All praise and glory to the God who reaches out in love to us, who calls us to do the same for others. And now, as God's people, embraced in God's love, let us stand and sing to God.